Hopefully everyone's hopefully everyone's great. Today in Charlotte, North Carolina, it is rainy and cold. It is weather. Charlotte is all over the place. Hot one week, or it was 77 degrees a couple days ago, and now it's 35 and rain. So Charlotte, you guys are from Charlotte. It is a unique spot. There's a lot of stuff going on in Charlotte. So I just want to say what's up to everyone. We're going to be going through the timeline today. I'm not going to be able to stream tomorrow. Not going to be able to stream Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So appreciate everyone that continues to jump on. Don't plan on really going too long tonight, but I do want to go through some topics on the timeline, specifically within the crypto space. Within, I want to talk about crypto, and I wanted to kind of talk about um, leadership. Leadership is something that I have been feeling compelled to talk to you guys about today. And that comes with a whole bunch of different, there's always a bunch of different things that come with leadership, right? We'll talk about leaders. Everyone in their mind has an idea of what a leader should be. Everybody wants to be a leader, right? Maybe not everyone wants to be a leader, but, specifically within sports or politics or business, people, some people are compelled to kind of be the person that others look to for strength. And I think that's natural, right? I think it's natural. Some people, their natural skills and their personality, it's a funny tweet. Their personality maybe is driven to be more of a leader. Some people are driven to be more of a follower, and I think both are okay in their own right. I think as long as you're a follower, make sure you're following people that have good intentions, that are good-willed, that push you to become better. Don't follow people that, um, anything that's unhealthy, right? Don't follow people that encourage drugs, that encourage alcohol, that encourage you to be less than what you're capable of. Encourage people to follow people that are wanting to become better and grow in life. So that kind of brings me to my point about what does growing in life mean. Growing in life is different for everyone. Growing in life can mean a lot of people talk about growing in their faith and spiritually. A lot of people talk about growing, muscles, growing in communication skills, growing in intelligence. And what I like to focus on is growing in overall life growth. Growth is very, very discomforting for some people. Some people do not like growth because it challenges their insecurities. And so I challenge you guys to think about where at in your life can you maybe push yourself to do things that you need to improve on. And I don't mean, for instance, I think a lot of people get that confused with, well, I'm not a good dancer, and so I'm going to go take up a dance class. You don't have to take up a dance class just because you're not good at something. If you don't care to be a dancer, you don't need to go just take a dance class. And that, yeah, I mean, sure, you can do it because you're getting over your fear and you want to do something outside the box, and that's great. But what I'm talking about growth specifically is everybody, for the most part, has a internal dialogue going on for some degree. Some people say that no, they say 50% of people don't have an internal dialogue. I like to think that everyone has some form of direction or guidance in their life, meaning everyone knows, some degree of what's right and wrong. People know that they should not kill other people. People know that they should not hurt other people. People know that they should not drive drunk. People know that, there's a moral compass that people are ingrained with. And yes, there are the 1% or the minority of people that just have maybe evil intentions or whatever happens, but I'm not talking to those specific. I'm talking to the majority. And the majority of people, I do believe, have an internal guide or compass morally, to become a more well rounded individual. And I know that to be true because if people weren't wanting to become more well rounded individuals, then everybody would just do things unhealthy for them 24/7. but we know not to do things that are unhealthy for us 24/7 because we know that doing that is going to hurt our life. It's going to shorten our lifespan. It's going to harm people around us. It's going to harm ourselves. And we're not going to advance in the game of life. And so that's very, very important to know if you are someone that understands what growth means. And so here's an example. You can't sit on your butt and expect to grow. You can't sit around and complain and blame other people and expect to grow. Although you may feel in your head that it is accomplishing blaming other people, it is not doing anything for you. It's not doing anything for the other person. There's nothing positive coming out complaining about another individual. It does absolutely nothing for your own good. Nothing. Think about it. You spend 15 hours getting mad about something that someone did, which, trust me, I say this, guys, and I say a lot of these examples not to say that I'm doing well. I'm speaking them because I've done these things too. And I think most leaders, the reason they can speak on events is because they have gone through those things and they're aware of those things and they're trying to grow and become better at those. And so that's something that I want to encourage everyone to think about is next time I complain, what is this doing for me? What is this doing for me in the sense of, is this going to make me feel better? It may make me feel better because I vented, but we all know that it's like venting is an addiction of some sort. When you vent, it just comes right back. It doesn't actually change. You feel good. It's like if you were to go have a beer or smoke a cigarette, you would get a 15 to 10 minute maybe buzz, and that buzz is going to go away, and then you're going to want another one. It's the same thing. Venting is the same exact thing. And so when you vent, you're feeling good in the moment, but the root cause is just going to come back. And so I ask you guys, why do you vent? Why do you worry about things you control? Maybe it's because you don't know how to communicate effectively. Maybe it's because the person that you're venting about, you don't know how to have a conversation with in a professional adult manner. And so you need to be able to get that communication that you're struggling with that individual to somebody else so they can validate the way you're feeling. And I can tell you that although that may feel like that's a good thing, I've vented. We all vent. And again, I'm not speaking saying that I'm doing right. I'm speaking because these things that I'm talking about are things that I want to improve on my life. Well, so um getting back to venting and why venting is not a real leadership quality. Venting is something that people do that they feel inferior or they feel like they don't have the power or they feel they don't know how to communicate well, so they vent. And let's take an example. Well, let's say, Ty, I have to vent. My boss is such a jackass. This person's a bully. What do I do? And I'll tell you, because I've been in that situation. I've been in situations where I felt very, very angry at certain individuals and I vented. And all it did is increase that anger towards that. That's the truth. And so what you're doing is you're verbalizing that problem and you're giving it more power. And then you're giving that individual more power. And so something I've learned, and again, guys, I can only speak on this because I've gone through a level of training my mind and my body levels. To do that, you have to be very mentally strong to push through discomfort. Anyone that's succeeded at a very high level knows how difficult it is to be a very under 1% group of people to achieve something. So I'm telling you all this because, as we sit here and we talk about leadership and we talk about venting, I'm actually going to go IG live to see if it's working better today before we do that. But I want to finish that conversation. Let me just see if I can. IG live was messed up last night, guys. Um, So, as we're talking about venting and we're talking about leadership, and we're talking about why do we vent and how venting is not really a quality of what leaders do, right? And so I ask you guys to say, maybe if you're in that situation, and I was giving you an example of when I was in that situation. I was at a spot where in that moment I couldn't rationalize anything to say back to that person because it would show weakness. So I would just bottle it up, and then down the line I would then vent someone. And all that did is just emphasize the problem and give that person or that thing more power and control over me. And then I would show up the next day and the same thing would happen. And then I would repeat the cycle. And as I'm repeating the cycle, I'm not solving the root cause. I'm not really growing in this aspect. And so one thing people don't want to do in any way is they don't want to appear weak, right? People don't enjoy appearing weak, especially in front of their peers. And so people like to act cool. People like to follow. If anyone that's just joined on IG, we're talking about leadership and we're talking about followers and what growth is. And so people don't like to follow, or people like to follow instead of lead. A Kobe Bryant post and video, Kobe said that leadership is extremely lonely. And I believe that 100% because nobody likes to go against the grain and no one likes to swim upstream. Humans are designed to want to have a easy, comforting lifestyle. That's why when you guys go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning, or you have to get up for school, or you have to do something that you don't want to do but you know it's going to lead potentially to success, we don't want to do that because our body and brain craves comfort. That's due to just survival over the years. Fear, things that are hard, we don't like to do that. We like to protect, we like to secure, and we don't like to challenge the system, because when you challenge the system or you challenge the way things are, now you're an outlier to that system, and now you're isolated compared to everyone else, and now then you have to deal with other people looking, complaining, trying to bring you down. And if you're not prepared to defend yourself, and if you're not prepared to walk your path, then you're going to let those people get into your head and your psyche. And then you're going to end up going from a leader, because maybe you branch out to become a leader, and then you go right back into the follower because you're not strong enough and convicted enough to be your own leader. And there's different aspects of leadership, right? There's funny leaders, there's serious leaders. Believe it or not, there's even kind of some mean. You could even say mean. Leaders come in all shapes and forms. And I would say a leader, if you want to look at it technically, a leader can be anyone that has a following of some sort of people that resonate with the words and actions that you say. That's what a leader really is. A leader is somebody that a group of people, multiple people, look up to somebody, not idolize. I don't like the word idolize, and I don't like the word, and I don't. That's why I have a problem with people, as celebrities. Something that it doesn't really. Everyone's a human at the end of the day, right? When I was a pitcher, and I was, and not that I was saying I was a celebrity, but I had a certain level of status being a Major League Baseball player, as any professional athlete does. You get drafted and you walk around with your chest out a little bit and you feel, what's up, Diaz? What's up, Anuri? You feel like you have, or feel like you're entitled to some degree, and you're maybe a little bit, I'm not going to say superior, but it's easy to feel like that because you've been given a title that elevates you over your peers. And that's what ultimately can be kind of detrimental to athletes and celebrities as they continue to rise the ranks. You can get this adopted God complex, or this, you think you're bigger than what you are. And something that I tried to do when I would talk with fans or DMs is people would say, they would say things, and I would literally try to say, guys, we're all humans at the end of the day. I'm just a little bit bigger and I can throw a baseball harder. Now, what really separates leadership is not the physical, right? Not being the strongest, it's not being the most talented, not being the coolest. It's the mental side. It's being able to be calm under pressure, being able to face a issue head on and keep cool and remain calm. That's ultimately what leaders do really, really well, is when they're in hard situations or they're in a very, very tricky spot, they're able to be themselves in a calm mannered while also executing the goal that they have in mind. And so that's on the mental side, right? That's on the social side. That's on the side that people want to, that's where you can really start to earn a following with people, not in an ego driven way, but a morally uplifting way. A leader, somebody that can continue to go through and face stuff that is difficult and be that front man for the other people to continue to grow and follow under that person. That's why I said at the beginning of this conversation that there's difference between there's a difference between following bad influences and there's a difference between following good influence. So we see a lot of times, especially in this day and age, we see a lot of people that are acting out of fear, right? It happens in politics. A lot of people act out of fear. And what really is fear is sadness. Fear is insecurity. Fear is trauma that happened at a younger age. That's what fear is. And fear, you can either let it control you or you can face it and rise above. And so people that let it control them, they'll stay in a fear-based state of mind until they die. And I don't mean to sound morbid, but that is the reality. You will never escape that fear unless you learn to face it. You can ignore it and you can control your environment around you to make the fear not be there. Because let's be honest, who really enjoys fear? Who really enjoys doing things that they know are holding them back? That if they just did that, they would maybe find some peace on the other side. So I'll give you guys some examples and I'll give you something that I went. And for anyone that's new to this stream, tonight's topic is we're talking about leadership. Last night we talked about business. Night before we talked about entrepreneurship. Always going to be a topic that we're just going to jump on. So something that I want to tell you guys, there's two examples. This is for me and my growth. You guys hear me talk about growth and you hear me speak about growth and you hear me put all these messages out there and people may be like, what is that? It doesn't really make sense. And what I want to say is that is growth. Putting yourself out there and being vulnerable to say, for instance, for me, I had an insecurity at a young age of not voicing my opinion or speaking what I wanted to speak. I was a maybe more reserved kid, more shy kid, and that comes a lot of kids. You're born, your environment maybe does it, but overall, I was naturally a more reserved kid. Had a very normal childhood. It just was, I was a tall guy, reserved, quiet. And throughout the years, I've changed that because I never really wanted to be super quiet and reserved. Because I always in my head, I wanted to And I knew being quiet and reserved was more of a detriment and it held me back more than it enhanced and helped me. And so throughout the years, I did things to push myself out of my comfort zone, right? And so the reason I did that is because I needed to exceed at a higher level. And if I had to come in and I had to close games, then in front of 40,000 people, then I had to be an extremely confident, focused individual. And if you're fearful, then you're not going to be able to go into a very hard situation to face something that is super difficult. So you need to grow confidence. You need to be, for me, I needed to be assertive and I needed to be more aggressive and I needed to be more focused with my intentions. And so I practiced things, right? I changed and listened to music. I stopped listening to music that was super negative. I started to verbalize. I started to verbalize and speak things that I wanted to do. For instance, that may be weird for some people. So I don't need to do that. And that's fine. I'm not telling you you do that. I'm telling you what I did to help me get through here. And I look at my life now and I look at the things that I've done. And I told someone the other day, I said, there's not really anything I fear anymore. Which some people can say, well, that's kind of scary because to some degree, fear can be good, right? And I don't mean fearful in the sense of doing something stupid, right? I wouldn't um, go and hang out with the wrong crew of people at 3 a.m. in the morning and talk crap to the boss's face and smack him. No, that's stupid. But things, for instance, on a day-to-day basis, for instance, when you walk into a crowd, are you fearful of speaking in front of people? I'm not fearful at all in speaking in front of people. Are you fearful of um, being judged or critiqued? Used to be, now don't care at all. Are you fearful of money? Um, I know that my happiness can be enhanced a little bit with money, but what's more important is having a healthy body, healthy mind, and being driven towards your goals because money is something that humans made, right? Money is how the economy operates. Money gives you access to more experiences. Money can create a more piece of life. Money can help buy pleasure and potential short happiness, but money does not make someone happy. So I say if you're out of money, is it kind of annoying? Sure, I'll say that not having money is annoying, but it's not scary. It's just aggravating, right? And that's where I like to say, as you guys hear me say, I don't do blanket statements. I don't do black or white. A lot of people, well, you said this. Okay, well, use context clues, think critically, and maybe ask a question saying, is this what you meant? A lot of people, there's always gray area with everything. And a lot of people don't want to address the gray area because they want to just, this is what you said, this is what I'm going based off of. And that's kind of an issue going on. I'm getting a little bit sidetracked, but it's important because for instance, somebody can say, "Well, I have no fear." Okay, well then go stand on top of Empire State Building and look down. No, dummy, because I don't want to do that. Of course I would be scared of that. Of course I would be scared of that. It's fear of things that I want to do in my life, things that have been on my mind that I want to improve on. That's what I'm talking about. It's not a blanket statement that I'm just not fearful of anything. It's a progression of things in my life that I worked on throughout the last 8 to 10 years to get to a spot in my life that now I'm not fearful. But here's the most important aspect with this. Here's what people don't talk about. Growth doesn't lead to money, riches, and fame. Growth can actually flip your whole entire world upside down. Growth can sever and cut relationships with people that you've had for years because you've outgrown those people. And so what happens is, as you continue to elevate and you continue to speak your mind or be more bold or be more confident or be more of a leader or talking about less drama or doing certain things, the people in your life that you did those things with are not doing what you're doing. So they were used to the individual that was doing stuff here, and now you're not doing these things. So as you age, your things that you find in common or things that you mutually found that you both would do, you're not doing those things. And so what happens is people that go through a growth journey, people that go through wanting to achieve something, have to make tough decisions. Now, that doesn't mean you cut people out. That doesn't mean that you become an asshole, although it's easy to because now you see life a little differently. What it means is you still respect that individual, still can love that individual, but you don't need to abide by the same way of life to appease that individual or to please that individual. That's why I said about 15 minutes ago, Kobe Bryant, he talks about lonely, being a leader is lonely. Because you have to go to a place to be a leader, it's not very common. And so you have to take actions and you have to live a certain way of life that the majority of people don't live. And when you're not living your life the way that other people live their life, people look at you as an outcast. People look at you as somebody that doesn't resonate with their understanding. And so it's lonely. But what comes with that loneliness is opportunity to make change. And that's ultimately why leaders become leaders, is because they want to instill change or they want to achieve something extremely difficult, or they want to win, or they want to help. And when you're in a follower state and you're continuing to follow people, you're never truly going to be in that state of helping people on a grand level. You can help people on a follower state, but this goes back to a point that I make routinely. I make this point a lot about those who like, what is your goal, right? What is your goal? What is your objective? What is your mission, right? And so I challenge people to say, well, I got a good job. I got my 401k. I lived an honest life. I got my pets. I got my kids. I got my house. I got my car. And I'm debt free. That's great. That's amazing. Unbelievable. But I view life differently. Those are still my goals. I would love to have all those things and to have my life buttoned up. But for me, my biggest fear in life is to not be living up to my fullest potential. And I don't think anyone's going to live up to their fullest potential. But I look at it in a matter of degrees. If some people live their life 50% and 100% is their capability, when you're on your deathbed, not to sound morbid, but when you're sitting there, are you going to regret something? And people will say, no, I'm not going to regret it. I've done everything I want to do. Great. But just imagine if you're there, you're 80, you're 89 years old, you're 92 years old, sitting in the couch, and you start thinking about things that maybe you should have done 32 or 25 or 35. And that, or maybe things you shouldn't have done, which I think everyone's going to sit there and say, I shouldn't have done that. I know there's a long list of things that I shouldn't have. But that to me, when I told you guys that I'm not fearful of anything, that to me is what I'm the most fearful of, is being at an old age. And the reason I say this is because not to instill that fear in my head as I get older, but I've had an idea and I've had an understanding since I was very, very young. Since I can remember, 4 or 5 years old, 3 years old, whatever it may be, that I had a um, vision of the things I wanted to accomplish in. And I think that's I'm not going to say that's by choice, by whatever. I think a lot of kids at a young age dream, right? They dream. Kids dream and they have fantasies. They think they can take over the world and they think they can do anything, right? That's what kids do. That to me, a lot of people have that. But parents, environments, people get in the way of that. And then those dreams get knocked down and fear gets instilled into these kids. And so fear gets instilled into kids at a young age, which then creates a cycle for kids not be in this creative state, not be in this dreaming state. They live in a fear based state. They live in, I need this, I need this, I need to do this to achieve this, this, and this. And so they stay at 50% of their potential pretty much their whole life. And they may get wild, they may do some fun things, they may branch out and do a thing here or there, but they're never really taking that next step to do something really, really difficult that will sit there and satisfy that feeling at a young age that kids have. And so for me, that feeling at a young age has been extremely strong. No matter how much failure I've endured in my life, no matter how many mistakes I've made, no matter how negative or things that have gone on my day to day, the one thing that's been a constant is I always have a vision of wanting to reach my highest potential. And when you have that vision and when you have that understanding of oneself, then you are automatically wanting to be driven to do those things. And so, people, you guys can see where, in this, I use this example, right? I use this example. A professional athlete or a famous actor or actress or a musician, more times than not, their sons or daughters either follow in their footsteps, and you don't even have to say a celebrity. You can say an astrophysicist, a rocket scientist, um, a high, you know, amazing trader investor. Successful people have successful kids. The reason that's the case is because they understand that it takes a certain way of motivating and pushing a child. They don't let their child just give up on stuff. They don't instill fear into that child. They they push that child to face fears. They push that child to overcome failure. They have a standard of living that drugs and alcohol are more of a net negative than a net positive. And so you have a lot of sober people that are in leadership positions. You have a lot of people that know how to face failure. You have a lot of people that have high work ethics. You have a lot of people that are very dedicated. You have a lot of people that are extremely focused. And so they have kids, and those kids then create and carry on those traditions and those patterns. And so I say that because it's very, very important to understand that bringing this whole conversation full circle is about leadership. And I brought this up about venting. Venting to me is complaining. I vent, still vent sometimes. It's natural to vent. But what I'm saying is, next time you're venting, understand maybe, how do I get to a point where I don't feel like I need to? And at your younger years, it's very, very difficult if you weren't taught this at a young age. If you weren't taught how to to handle emotions, to handle criticism, handle failure, if you were taught to just rub dirt on it and push forward, it's going to be difficult as you get older. And no parent ever is going to have the right playbook. Parents do things amazingly well and then they gap on other issues. It's hard to do all those things as a parent. But what I'm trying to bring you guys attention to is to have a understanding, want to become a better human being all around. That's what growth is. That's what personal growth is. And it's lonely to do that. It's lonely to do that because people in life want to have fun, they want to have experiences, they want to seek pleasure, they want to do things temporarily that give them instant dopamine, instant gratification. They don't want to do something that's monotonous or boring. But where the power can be within all this, what's really, really interesting about all this is you can rewire what is boring and what is interesting to you. Right? You can rewire the way you do actions, the way you live life, to have a more rounded, neutral perspective on things. So, one thing that I want to have you guys kind of take away from today is personal growth and leadership is not for everyone. But if you have that voice in the back of your head and you have that vision and you have that understanding of wanting to become something else, I would tell you to listen to that voice. That I would tell you that that voice is leading you towards a positive direction. That voice that tells you that I don't need to have this cigarette, or I don't need to have this thing, or I don't need to hang out with this person, or I need to cut this person out, or I should be this, my house is a disaster. My floors are dirty. I haven't gone to the dentist. That voice that's guiding you, that's telling you to do these things, that's almost guilt tripping you. That voice is damn near correct 99.9% of the time. And that's what I talked about at the beginning of this conversation, a moral compass. And I believe everyone has a moral understanding of what's right and wrong, besides maybe a few mentally ill that may have an issue that is beyond fixable, right? Anyone has an issue or something going on. It happens. No one's perfect. Life, people, not perfect. Possible to be 100%. But the majority of people do have a moral compass, right? And that moral compass gets clouded as you go on through life. People learn how to compartmentalize. People learn how to block out. People learn how to avoid. People learn how to separate. People learn how to use coping mechanisms to avoid that fear and to block out that voice. You look at it as, the devil and the angel. People don't want to listen. And I'm not saying the voice is the devil or the angel. I'm saying the good or the bad, right or the wrong. And I think my grandfather believed that people knew right from wrong. And I used to not agree with that. And as I continue to think about and go through stuff, I believe it to be 100% true. I think people do know right from wrong. It's not that I think, I know people right from wrong. Because the majority of people, when I say the majority, almost everyone on earth, they don't try to do things on a day-to-day basis that are going to just bring harm to them, right? People have to drink water. They know water helps them survive. People have to eat food, right? People have to do things, people don't just go out and intentionally do. Now, some people do extremely evil acts because they know that's not right. And so that's where this moral compass comes in. And that moral compass can be, for me, leading you to a path. And that moral compass, that voice in my head, ever since I was 3 or 4, 5 years old, whenever it was, has been telling me, Ty, you got more. Ty, don't quit. Ty, why are you not reaching your potential? Why are you not doing this? And that's the game of life, is to continue to go through life listening and facing that challenge, facing those fears, and doing these things that help you live up, or I don't want to say live up, but to rise to this occasion of, man, when I'm 95, Sam always laughs at me because I say I like to get my money's worth. Whether we go to a hotel, whether we go to a place, a vacation, man, I get my money's worth. I have fun. I soak it in. I really, really try to have the full experience because I want to get my money's worth. And that's to me what kind of life's about, right? It's about living this life, these 100 years if we're lucky, and to really, really face, really, really face yourself and say, damn, I gave life everything I absolutely. Because that would be such a sad story, man. It'd be so terrible. And I think that's why people have these midlife crises, right? A midlife crisis, it takes them 55 years to wake up and go, holy crap. Meaning 55 years it took them to emotionally open their mind to say, what have I been doing? What have I been doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I accepting this life that is not like, so people have this emotional, and everyone, what's wrong with that guy? He's having a midlife crisis. No, that guy just woke up. That person just woke up. They said, enough's enough. I'm done being fake. I'm done being a people. I'm done living a life that isn't fulfilling for me. Why would I want to serve only other people and not serve me? I think it's funny. This is a funny example. We'll say, you love yourself. Damn right I love myself. Not? It kind of takes me back when people say, why do you love yourself so much? I go, what are you talking about? Yourself? No, I don't hate myself. I just don't love myself. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean loving yourself, you don't have to sit there. You can still be a great human being to other people. Still love yourself. You can still be there, be a nice person, support other people, be a good human being in the community, and still love yourself. Now, maybe what people get confused with is you're so self-centered. What they're meaning to say is you're so self-centered that you don't care about anyone around you. And if that's the case, then I would say I'm so self-centered and only care about the people around me. Meaning, if you're not around me, if you don't support me, I don't support you. I don't give unconditional support. Now, I give unconditional love to people around me, but if you can't support me, or if you can't support the things that I'm doing, then I'm not going to support you. Why would I? Why would I continue to put resources and energy and time into a never returning pot that just continues to take and take and take and take. And that's what a lot of people do. And that's why when people get to this certain age in life, they have these midlife crises. Because they've realized like they continue to pour and pour and pour and they don't get anything back. And they say, the hell with it, I'm done doing it. So, that being said, that is our conversation on leadership. That is our conversation on growth, on venting. I hope you guys understand that it is okay. It is okay to not have the answers right now, meaning if what I'm saying is a foreign language, that's okay. That as you continue to apply, as you continue to want to change, those things do get easier. Those things do get better. And so I would challenge people that do have that voice that says you can be more. I would listen to that. I would listen to that. Now, it's going to be kind of crappy for 1, 2, 3 months, right? You're going to have to adjust the way you live your life. You're going to have to do some uncomfortable things. You're going to have to sacrifice some short-term pleasure, some short-term gratification, and it's going to be a little boring. But I can tell you, when it's boring, that means that you're transitioning to the other side. That's what you want. If it's not boring, then you're not doing it right. The reason it's boring is because your old life gave you constant dopamine, constant gratification. And this new life, you have to rewire and get transitioned into what this is. This life is the life that you want to live. This life is the life you're told to live. And so the life you're told to live is a follower. Not all followers are bad, though. That's what I'm trying to say. This life is a life where this is how I want to live. This is the life that I want to do. Now, with that being said, too, you guys know I like to say, now with that being said, because that's a very important detail where it's not going to just take you to a path. You have to ask yourself, why am I living like this? For me, it's to say, man, I gave it everything I got, right? I gave it everything I got. I really, really did try. I really made a constant effort to be a nicer person. I made a consistent effort to be more organized. I made a consistent effort to be more confident. I made a consistent effort to build that business that I wanted to build. I made a consistent effort to become a better father. Because if you get to that certain age, you go, dang it, man. Late now. Sucks. Too late. Can't change this now. Then what do you do? Right? What do you do then? Can't do anything. That's kind of a scary thought to me. David Goggins talks about that a lot. And I've heard a lot of people talk about that they have this internal thing that says that they need to change that. That their biggest fear is being on their deathbed and realizing that they didn't live up to be. The one last point that I want to give to you guys. Talked about loving yourself, and I would say, why would you not? I think it's crazy. I think it's an embarrassment to yourself, and I mean this. And tonight's a little bit more of a serious talk, guys. You guys know when I do crypto, when I do business, tonight's more of a serious talk. You know, leadership, growth, motivation is something I really like. It's a serious talk because it's a very serious matter, right? And so I think it's an embarrassment for people to say, why are you so hard on yourself? Why are you not? Well, I am. I love myself. Ted, you know what I'm saying? Like you can contradict people. Well, you gotta love yourself. But then that same person will say, why do you love yourself? But then that same person will say, don't be so hard on yourself. And what's really going on is people really don't know what the hell they're talking about because they've never experienced, they've never done something extremely difficult. They read a couple books and they do a couple podcasts and they spit out whatever, whatever understanding that they think. Meanwhile, they have their own problems that they're so people like to hear themselves talk. People like to give advice. It's natural for everyone. But I would ask you guys to be hard on yourself. Absolutely. Right? 100%. Why would you not? Why would you not be hard on yourself? Why would you not love yourself? You can love yourself and be hard on yourself at the same time. If I'm not hard on myself, then how am I ever going to grow and get better? If I'm okay with being mediocre, then I'm always going to be mediocre. If I'm okay with hating myself, I'm never going to love myself. So that's something that you guys have to keep in mind as you continue to go on this journey, continue to face challenges. You need to think about these things. Who are you listening to, right? Are you listening to advice that is complaining all the time, that makes you a victim, that says it's not your fault, it's their fault? I've always been somebody that I never understood. I've blamed other people. I have. But 99% of the time, 99.9% of the time, it's on you, man. Like it's on you. Like it's on you to figure it out. It's on you to communicate. It's on you to grow. It's on you to quit that bad habit. It's on you. And the defense is, well, I'm predisposed. Great. Doesn't mean it's impossible. Not impossible. Well, had a bad break when I was younger. Had a bad environment. Okay? I can give you 100 people that had bad environments that changed their environment. What's your excuse? Well, genetically, I never, or this is a good one. I never had I didn't have the right people around me. Now that's actually a fair one. That is kind of good, right? That one can kind of be tough when you don't have the right people around you, guiding you, motivating you. That's an honest one. But then what I would challenge you to say is, then why didn't you figure out to get the right people? Why did you settle with not having the right people around you? Why didn't you go out if you wanted it that bad? Then you would have done anything to achieve, right? And so what happens is people make these excuses to justify their shortcomings in life because they don't want to admit that they didn't achieve what they sought out to achieve. And that is a very, very hard pill to swallow. Very hard pill. And it's okay that if you didn't achieve. But I say, well, then try. That's what I believe, right? Say that trying is a losing mindset. I don't believe that at all. I think trying is a winning mindset. I think not doing anything is a mindset, right? I'm going to try and I'm going to I know it's going to happen, but you got to try, right? Really got to try. You got to navigate. So keep that stuff in mind. You guys are out there and you're working and you're listening to some dumb crap that somebody's saying on the internet or in a work group or in a friend group, and that guy or that girl seems to be the most popular or most cool person of the group. Everyone's flocking to that person, right? Everyone wants to be around that person. I would ask you, well, what situation is it, right? Are they at a club? Because if they're at a club, then they're around alcohol and drinks, and that's temporary gratification, right? If they're at a gym and everyone's flocking around the person at a gym, that's pretty cool. If they're at a speaking event and they get done with a speaking event, they got a lot of people flocking around them, man, that's pretty cool. You know, if we're all, hanging out at a house party, again, a lot of these things come down to Sam and I to talk about alcohol. Sam and I, we've been normal drinkers like anyone else. Young kids have fun time, go to parties, we drink. We have, we're safe about it. But more times than not, alcohol is it it stops you from achieving what you want to achieve because the physiology behind it, there's actual science that it does cloud your brain. It clouds your vision. Makes you less motivated. It makes you less confident. Get less quality. It lowers your testosterone. It ages your body quicker. Now, there's nothing wrong having a drink once in a while. But Sam and I have gotten to the point where, we'll have some drinks, have a lot of drinks, we won't drink at all. We'll have a lot of drinks, we'll have a little drinks, we won't drink at all. And her and I have been, you guys know, Sam and I like to build. We like to chase dreams. We like to experience life. And you almost get to the point where you get to a certain part of your age and you go, well, I mean, what experience have we had that we haven't experienced? Why do we like gone to house parties? We've gone to clubs. We've flown on private jets. We've gone to vacations. We've done everything. Literally, Sam and I have done everything. The only thing we haven't done is scaled and created this true business conglomerate, this entity that helps change and build people up, that changes the game, athlete con, camps. We haven't done that. We haven't done those things. And those things are extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. I didn't drink till I was 21. I signed $1.3 million out of high school. Didn't party, didn't drink. You look at people, you go around the room. I played with athletes. Some of the best, I played with 3 of the best athletes in the world that will go down in the Hall of Fame, potentially as 1, 2, and 3. Healthy, clean, motivated, focused, driven, clear, calm, collected. Maybe there's something to that, right? A lot of people that are very successful, the reason why they don't mess around with clubs, the reason why they don't mess around with drugs and alcohol is because it doesn't allow them to achieve what they want to achieve. And so Sam and I have had many conversations where we sit there and we go, well, we could keep doing it and we could spend the next, we did it from 21 to 31, me, or we can try a decade without alcohol. That would be fun. That would be interesting. Why not? Why not try a whole decade without a drink? Doesn't mean I'm not going to ever have a drink, but wonder what would happen in my life. I wonder what would happen in my life if I went a whole decade without a drink or without a substance. Even caffeine. Think about that. Why do I need caffeine? Caffeine's a drug. Caffeine can mess with your sleep cycles. Now it can help you get focused, and it is fun to have a jolt. And maybe I won't give up caffeine. I've given up caffeine for about 2 months. It really I didn't really feel that big of a benefit from giving it up. I kind of felt, I don't know, it wasn't that big of a deal. I will say this: I've given up drinking for an extended period of time. Wow, feel freaking good. I mean, you feel really good. You feel like there's a whole entire world out there that you haven't even been living. That is why a lot of successful people don't drink, because to do the things that they do at that high of level, you can't, you have to be operating at 100% because it's that difficult. Well, Ty, but what about this guy? He drinks all the time. Great. Absolutely. The majority, the standard, I can tell you, overall, it's a more of a net negative than it is a net positive. So, hope you guys enjoyed our conversation about leadership, about growth. If you guys want to hear more about topics, if there's any baseball people here in this chat or in this stream, go join the Charlotte Baseball Club on Facebook. I will be posting some Facebook messages. I will be posting some videos. It's called Charlotte Baseball Club. It's a Facebook group. And I will not be streaming tomorrow. Next week's conversation, everyone. I may be able to stream. You know what? I may be able to stream from my phone. May not have the nice, good-looking camera right here and the screen share, or stuck on Ian Miles Chong video. I got to get you guys a better video to look on back. I could have, honestly, we could have just done this. I think that would have maybe been, if I'm just yapping moving forward, I think I'm gonna start talking from cam only. So potentially we'll be doing a stream Thursday night. Sam and I got a 10-hour drive up to my best man's wedding. Again, guys, tonight was a little bit more of a serious conversation. You guys can see my eyes. I am exhausted. I'm exhausted. I've been running. Running and gunning. Getting back to the drinking. I would ask you guys. I'm not saying, and again, I'm not saying just go. You have to go cold turkey. Just cut it back, right? Cut it back. Learn how to have fun without having to have short-term gratification. Doesn't mean just drinking. It means anything. Anything. It's okay to be bored sometimes. It is. It's okay to not have the answers of, man, what am I doing? What with this and that? It's okay. So, with that being said, go. Oh, I want to show you guys, Sam. I want to show you guys Texas video. Mega E. Hi. Look at Sam. Just wrapped up working with UT administration. Great conversations with the incredible women leading athletic departments, including the absolute trailblazer, Dr. Donna Sobers. Guys, Sam has a pretty cool job. She literally flies around to D1 colleges. She launched her own convention, this thing behind me. And I help her on behind the scenes, but she's the front woman. She's doing all the negotiating, all the selling, all the emails, all the editing, all the speaking. I mean, does it all. You know, she is a true-blooded entrepreneur, man, and she absolutely killed it at Texas. So shout out to Sam. swaggy outfit, invest everything that she gets back into her business, because her and I don't give a crap about making millions right now. We don't care if we have to live paycheck to paycheck or if we have debt. We don't care about that. What we care about is chasing our dreams and saying, damn right, we freaking tried. So that when we're 35 or 40 or 45 or even 50, get there and say, high five each other and go, hell yeah, did it. That's what I think life's about. Imagine going at 55 and going, we didn't do it. What did we do for the last 15 years, 20 years? What were we doing? We're drinking this and that crap and this and complaining and this and that. Screw that. That's a nightmare, man. That would be a freaking nightmare. So, all right, guys. With that being said, go check out Sam Sam B Green. I will see you guys on stream Sunday night potentially and next week.